how can I, spend my time here in Earth School doing what I need to do and learning what I need to learn and having my journey in a way that is fulfilling my soul need, my ego need, whatever I'm here for, in relationship with all these other people who are trying to do the exact same thing.
Welcome to the world of energy, where science meets spirit, ancient wisdom merges with cutting-edge knowledge, and the possibilities for a healthier, happier you are endless. I'm Lauren Walker.
And I'm Blaine Wilkes. This is Energy Works, your portal into the incredible world of energy medicine. Whether you're a seasoned energy practitioner seeking to deepen your knowledge, or someone new to the concept of energy medicine, this podcast was created for you. Together, we unravel the intricate threads of energy that weave through our lives, revealing practical insights, stories, and actionable tools that you can start using right away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Energy Works. And we're just going to dive right in because it was so powerful last time talking about creativity. And that leads right into today's topic, which is power. When we're talking about energy, we want to talk about the power of energy and what it is like and means to be powerful in your own body, in your own life. And power also speaks to the ego, which is where we start to differentiate. We start to see ourselves as separate from everything and everyone else. And that is part of the evolution that we make. That is the differentiation that we start to come into when we're children, when we start to realize that I am different, I'm separate from everybody else. Before that, we all thought there was just one thing, that our emotions and our experiences was just the only thing that happened. And then as we start to grow up a little bit more, we start to see that there is a difference between us and everybody else. And that is a very ancient yogic tenet. It's actually one of the teachings that we learn very early. And you've probably heard this metaphor before, is that you are the drop and you are the ocean. And so what that means is we are all interconnected. We have attributes in every human body all over the planet that are the same. And then we are different. We are unique beings with our own lives, our own history, our own challenges, our own hopes and dreams. And that interplay back and forth of recognizing that I am an individual and that I am part of a whole is really what we want to talk about today when we talk about power and ego. And it follows so nicely from our last podcast where we talked about creativity and how every act that you do is a creative act, and that action leaves ripples in the field around you, affects people around you. And now when we're talking about power, we're talking about being very conscious and having a conscience about the actions that you take so that your actions feel empowering and powerful to you and empowering and powerful to other people around you, as opposed to being forceful. The difference between power and force. Power is everybody feels supported and feels grounded and creative in the actions that we're all about to take or that you are taking on our behalf. Whereas forceful is, I am pushing you to do something that I want you to do that you don't necessarily want to do, but I have this um, more force over you and I'm going to make you do that. And that is not a beneficial use of your creative juices. And that's what we're going to talk about today, the difference between power and force and understanding yourself as being both a drop and the ocean. How's that, Blaine, to start in with something nice and easy?
Right, we just jumped right on in, jumped off the pier right into this ocean that Lauren's talking about and started swimming. So, welcome everybody. This is such a great topic. And of course, Lauren and I look at everything through the lens of energy. So, we're all moving through the world as the drop and as the ocean and trying to find our way to, I'll just say, self-actualize. How can I, spend my time here in earth school doing what I need to do and learning what I need to learn and having my journey in a way that is fulfilling my soul need, my ego need, whatever I'm here for, in relationship with all these other people who are trying to do the exact same thing. They're no different from me in that way. My mother was doing that in her way. My father was doing that in his way. My partner Burke is doing that in his way. I've lived in houses with all these people or been raised by these people. And so everyone is trying to do the best they can on this life journey and trying to find this balance of doing what's right for me and doing what's right for everybody else. Hopefully, right? Because Lauren talked about this conscious conscience. And I think that some of us are maybe thinking a little more consciously or with more conscience than others. And I'll share that. I mean, there's been so many times that I have tipped over into the thinking about myself more than I'm thinking about others or trying to. I will just say I am an ambitious woman, and there are times that I have set goals and I have things that I want to accomplish in my life. And so, who am I bruising, tramping down, or not being conscious of in my pursuit of what I want to accomplish in my life? And so I think it's part of the human journey and the human experience, but we can use, it's just hard to sort this all out with our brain. Our brain has limitations and we have this energy that is so much smarter than our brain. And so this is about how we can tap in to this universal energetic intelligence that is so much greater than what our little brain can comprehend.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely, the energy is more brilliant than any of our individual brains could ever hope to be. But I really liked what you said about um, satisfying your ego needs. I think a lot of the time, especially in the yogic world, ego gets a bad name. It's like something that we're trying to overcome or subvert, or the ego is this Ram Dass has always said the ego makes a great servant, but a horrible leader. And so, this idea of, trying to subvert who we are, because our ego is our self identification. It's how I present to the world. It's how I think about who I am in the world. And that is very much to do with how powerful I feel or don't feel in my own life or in the world at large. And so, that understanding that I am an individual, separate being with my own goals and needs and desires, that can be supported along with my ideas of wanting everybody else to also be successful. It's not a zero sum game. It's not like if I'm successful, you, Blaine, can't be successful. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons we chose to do this podcast together is because we realize that together we are both stronger. We have the ability to bounce ideas off each other. We have the ability to fill in for each other if one of us doesn't feel well. Oh, hey, can you take this on today because I can't? Whereas if it's only me, then I don't have anyone else to be in relationship with. And so I have a relationship with myself, and in the best place, I feel powerful enough in myself that I can be vulnerable with other people and allow other people into my world that I can be relational with. I hope we're not jumping too much off the rails. Is this making sense to you, Blaine?
It does make sense to me. And I think it is this individuation. I'm not quite sure how to say that word. This being an individual, which we are, and we're in a sea of other people who are also individuals. And so working in community together. I think that is where you're going. And it is sometimes I can tell you I'll like go back into school. And this, I don't know if this is an ego thing or an insecurity thing, but I really like to be someone who does her own work. And so, because I know if I'm 100% responsible for it, I'll make sure I get an A. I'm for sure going to get an A because I'm going to work that hard. That's just how I do things. And so if I was sitting in class and we have to do a group project, I was like, "Oh, like, stab in the heart. Please, like, get me out of this classroom." It was literally the worst news. I mean, the pit in the stomach, because then I've lost control. If other people are doing parts of the project, then I may not for sure get an A, and they're gonna be turning in work that I might think is subpar to the work that I could have done. I have actually, in school, in college, convinced everybody else to just let me do the whole project. They could go like, just go off, and I would just do the whole thing by myself and turn it in, and then everybody would get that.
So do
And
you
so,
think
I
that is
think
a
that
good
it was
do you think that is a good use of your personal power and your power in the world and in community?
absolutely not. I think it's overinflated ego control issues, because what could I have learned from all the people who were assigned to be in my group if I had allowed myself to talk to them and discuss the project with them and get their ideas? And it's this short-sighted, over ego idea that I know what's right for everybody and just let me do it all. But I still have some of that. I mean, you work with me, Lauren. Know this. I mean, I definitely do.
That's a really powerful point that you're bringing up though, because that is the rub, so to speak, that we see in the world around us. I think I know what everybody else should be doing, what everyone else should be believing, wearing, thinking, eating. I mean, fill in the blank. I think I know best. And that is force versus power. If I was being truly powerful, what I would say is, I know what's best for me, but I'm not sure what's best for you. But I'm going to empower you to figure out and find out what's best for you. But that's all very well and good until we get into the situation that you just talked about. Now, your grade is dependent on all these other people. So it's not so easy to just say, I empower you, go do the work that you think you want to turn in, when the work that you turn in is going to affect my grade. So then what do you do in a situation like that?
That is the question. I think you don't do what I did, because that's how you burn out in work, in school, in life. I'm just going to do everyone else's work, and I'll stay up all night and I'll pull the all-nighters. And instead of doing the work of one, I'll do the work of 4 or 5. That there's no way, it's trust issues. There's no way to survive, in any capacity, be it a student or the leader of a family or a team member in a business or the checker at your local grocery store. They can't do the checking of every customer who walks in there because they can do it best, they think. And I have learned along the way that when I let other people do things, they sometimes do them better than I can. They have
Aha.
actually done a better job than if I had done it myself. They were better. And so, I mean, there's obviously life lessons that we have to learn. And I think, I because of upbringing or past lives or whatever reason it is, I'm, in this body that wanted to be the one to do all the work. on the other side of the coin, there could definitely have been a person in my group who's like, "Great, I don't know what to do anyway, and I'm scared of it, and I don't have the confidence to do this project whatsoever, and so I'm really glad someone's just gonna do it for me." And so that's the other side, right? I mean, these people didn't step up and say, "No, Blaine, like, we should get this learning experience for this college class that we paid for just like you." And so I think that, not to go too off the rails here on, do I know best, that the journey is balance. I think every episode we talked about grounding and balance, and we talked about creativity and balance, and now we're talking about our power and our ego in balance because we can tip into judgment, right? I mean, it's a very tightrope here. This, I think I know better versus like, I'm judging you, right? I mean, because I think I've made some sort of judgment on somebody if I think that I can do something better than they can. And back to the point you made, Lauren, about those of us who think we know best about what to eat or how to exercise or where you should buy your clothes or where you should buy your home goods. What stores should you be shopping at or not shopping at, or all of these things that tips into judgment. Our ego, we start judging other people for not making the same choices that we make. And then this separation gets farther and farther and farther away. Instead of I am she and she is me, and we are two women on a journey together. We're here together on our life journey. I am she and she is me. I am she and she is me. I'm looking at her and judging what she is doing. And so I am making myself separate.
And not only that, but you're also back to your the college um sh- uh, story that you shared. You're also limiting their experience. Not only because you're doing all the work, but that person that was like, "I'm scared. I don't really know what to do. I'm going to let just Blaine do all of that." That person didn't get to push themselves beyond their fear. They didn't get to get grounded and exercise their creativity and come into their own personal power because you exercised your force. You forced everybody to just do it your way. And so they lost their ability to exercise their own grounding, creativity, and personal power in that situation. And and who knows, college is the time where we start to learn how we're going to be in the world. So maybe that person then didn't have the opportunity to overcome their fears and learn how to do that, how to tap into their creativity. And so your grade took precedence over somebody else's experience because it became all about you, as opposed to this idea that and this is really, I mean, this is really difficult territory because my life is all about me. It just is. It's 100% me. I am the director, writer, star of the show. Me. And you are the director, writer, and star of the show, you. But we are also in a movie together, and so if we can't figure out how to do that together, how to each be powerful in our own lives, but co-creatively powerful and empowering each other, then we're going to see this fractured world more and more and more that we're already starting to see, where factions are using force over other people instead of empowering other people. And that comes, I want to talk about this for a minute, because you talked about moving into judgment. So when you start forcing your ideas and your opinions and your way on other people, that actually comes from a place of being not powerful, being weak. It comes from a place of weakness. Because if I feel powerful in myself, I trust that your decision is okay for you. As long as you're not doing something that directly is hurting me, your decision doesn't make an impact on me. Now, we've been talking about how everything impacts everything else. So that's why I'm saying this is not an easy conversation to have, because your choice of vehicle, your choice of food, your choice of clothing does impact the whole and therefore me. So this is a very delicate dance. This is not, we're not going to just throw out the answer to all of you about how to solve the universe's problems because these are very intertwined, difficult issues. But what we're trying to do is get you to understand how your energy is actually affecting these actions that you take in the world in a way that maybe you've never thought of before. And so that's really the goal of these conversations that we're having is how can you get your energy to work for you so that you feel powerful, that you feel that you're a unique individual and that you're part of the ocean and that you're trying to do everything you can to take right action in the world and right action in your own life.
Yes, right action. I love that you just said that. Not perfect action, right? And just in any given moment, this consciousness that you talked about and being aware and this idea of a bit of neutrality, right? There instead of being in right, wrong and good, bad and judging and all of that, just stepping into there's this word that I love that is equanimity. And from Latin, that means equal mind, being of equal mind. So equanimity, when we can look at the many different sides of an issue, knowing that it's complex, knowing that we don't have all the information and we never will, but me in my power, what is the right action that I can take in this moment right now and coming from that place.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that. I love that because it isn't perfect action, it's right action. And when we talk about power and we talk about ego, we often talk about the area in the body that is kind of right in the middle, like your belly button or a little bit above that. And we talk about the gut and our impulses coming from the gut. I have that gut feeling that this is the right thing to do, right? That statement is a very personal, powerful statement. I have a gut feeling that that's the right thing to do, or I have a gut feeling that that's not the right thing to do. It's like this is the area where we hold in our body a very deep and essential truth and a deep and essential feeling of what is right and wrong, what is right action, what is harmful action to take. And so the energetic piece behind what we're all talking about today is how do we come into that equanimity in the energy in the body so that when we take action, it automatically is a right action because it's already been balanced by the energy work that we've done. Does that make sense to you, Blaine?
It does. And, another part, or another name for this area of the body is equator, right? I mean, I know that in Donna Eden and her work, she says the belt or the belt area or the belt flow, but she'll also say equator. It's like the equator of the body, the equanimity, the equal. It's this really powerful part of the physical body that Lauren is going to share with us energy techniques we can use to bring us into this balance power, balance ego, equanimity frame of mind so that we can be more likely to choose right action from a place of balance.
And if you've studied any kind of martial art, then you already know that this area in the body is considered the power center of the body. Even that word center, it's the center of the body. It's where you lead into the world from and with. And so okay, I'm going to stop talking and just share this technique with you. So, there's two things about this because coming into balance already postulates that there are two things that we're balancing. And we talk about yin and yang. You've probably heard those words before, these oppositional forces. And we keep talking about these oppositional forces. We're talking about grounding and polarity. This is what we're talking about again. And so, in the teaching today, I'm going to talk about the front and the back side of the body so that we bring into balance both the incoming energy and the outgoing energy in the body. So we're going to start on the belly. And I'm going to stand up in front of the camera so that if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing. And if you're listening on in your earbuds right now, I'm going to talk you through what it looks like. So I'm going to take my belly and look at it as if I've got these bony structures that are the perimeter. So my low ribs and my hip bones and then my pubic bones, they create this perimeter of my belly. And the belly, the soft area in the belly, in the middle of those bones, is the area that we're going to work right now. What's interesting is a lot of people have resistance to touching this part of the body, to loving this part of the body, to being in relationship with this part of the body. But this really is where your power is. There's a lot going on in here with all of the organs, the powerful organs. We're not going to get into all this. But what I want you to do is start to circle this area of the body with your hands. So I've got my hands, my fingertips together, and I'm kind of palpating a little bit on on the soft, fleshy part of my belly. And I'm going around in circles and I'm going up the inside of the right side and across the top and then down the left side and across the bottom in this clockwise direction that actually the circle mimics the direction of my digestion. So it's a really powerful tool for digestion as well, which is important in your power structure. But while we're doing this now, I'm going to go and press in a little deeper. So now I'm going to slow down my circles and I'm going to kind of walk my fingers around that perimeter and I'm going to press in as I go. And if you feel any soreness or any tenderness in any area, you're going to stop and I'm going to go around again because I did feel there's a little tenderness and I'm going to just massage. I'm going to stop and massage that area a little bit with the fingertips. And then I'm going to keep going. So I'm doing this perimeter circle, but I'm stopping if I feel any soreness or any tenderness. And what that soreness or tenderness is pointing out to me is that there are ripples in in my holisticness, in my feeling of wholeness and completeness. There's something that is not feeling whole, that is not grounded, that is not healed. There is something that is interrupting the flow of energy through the body, and that is going to affect how I present out into the world. It's going to affect how powerful I am if I've got blocks to the flow of energy. So circling around and around in that area. And now I'm going to bring in the back body, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to circle around and around at the low back. Now I've got the backs of my hands onto my back here, and I'm circling around and around. And you can do this in either direction on the back, or you can do both of them. And this is a really important area of the body. It's called the Ming Man point in Chinese medicine, and it's considered the sea of vitality. This is your vital life force energy, which, if we're talking about being powerful in your life, you want to have this energy accessible to you all the time. And so these two areas of the body, the back body and the front body, over your areas of power in the body, are so important to have them flowing smoothly, being in what Blaine's called equanimity, so that you can be in the center of your power, in what we sometimes call the eye of the storm. The world can be chaotic around you, but you are in the center, calm, grounded, creative, and powerful in your actions. And that is the goal of having your energy be working for you. Because if your energy is grounded, creative, and powerful, then so are you.
I really don't know what else to say. I think we just end the podcast right now, Lauren. You just said that so beautiful. I love everything that you said. Grounded, centered, creative, in your power. End of podcast.
End of podcast. We'll see you all next time.
Alrighty, energy fans, that's a wrap on another positively charged episode of Energy Works. Lauren, this is the part where we get to use our energy puns.
It's been electrifying, hasn't it, Blaine? We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
If you're feeling amped up and you want to keep your energy flowing, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform.
And we'd love to hear from you. So please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates. So light up our inbox.
And spark a conversation with your friends to tell them about us. And we'll see you next time on Energy Works.